Welcome back to Outside Views, where today we're diving into a scandal so outrageous it could be the plot of a political crime drama. Except this one is real. And it involves a former MP, insider knowledge, and a cheeky bet on democracy itself. Because yes, Britain just had an election betting scandal. And now the charges are here. But let's break it down. Craig Williams, former Conservative MP and once Parliamentary Private Secretary to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, has officially been charged in connection with an election betting scandal. We talked about the scandal that time. And he's not alone. 14 others have been charged too. And that list includes Conservative Party officials, campaign staffers, a police officer, and even a husband and wife political duo. And the allegation? They placed bets on the exact date of the 2024 UK general election. And not by guessing, but allegedly by using insider information. The kind of info only people in the know would have. And if it's true, that's not just shady, that's a crime. Under UK law, using insider knowledge to profit from gambling can carry up to 2 years in prison. And while politicians are allowed to place bets, they are absolutely not allowed to do it with privileged, non-public information. But let's rewind. Back in early 2024, the betting markets were leaning toward a fall election. That was the conventional wisdom. And Rishi Sunak surprised everyone by announcing a July 4th election. In the rain, no less, you remember. Cue the chaos, and within hours, whispers started to spread. A handful of bets had been placed just before the announcement. And those bets were oddly specific, suspiciously so. And then came the headlines. And then came the investigation. And now, here we are. Craig Williams, the man in the spotlight, admitted back in June that he placed a £100 bet on a July election. He claimed it was an error of judgment and not an offence. But the Gambling Commission clearly disagrees. He lost his seat in the election, finishing third in Wales. But he may still find himself in court. Others now facing charges include Russell George, a member of the Welsh Parliament, and Nick Mason, a former chief data officer for the Conservatives. Also charged are Thomas James, director of the Welsh Conservatives, and Anthony Lee, a former campaign director. And Lee's wife, Laura Saunders, who ran for a parliamentary seat, is also facing charges. In response, the Conservative Party has suspended any current staffers who have been charged. And a spokesperson said, and I quote, "Those working in politics must act with integrity." Yeah, that's a nice sentiment, and quite a shame it wasn't followed before the charges were filed. And let's be clear here. This story is about more than a few rogue bets. It's about trust. Because when people entrusted with power start profiting from that power behind the scenes, democracy itself takes the hit. And this isn't just unethical, it's corrosive. It reinforces public cynicism. It feeds the narrative that politicians play by a different set of rules. And that's a narrative that no democracy can afford to nurture. And the 2024 election was already brutal for the Tories. Labour swept them out of office after 14 years. And now, the story dominating the headlines isn't policy. It's prison time. And the investigation is ongoing. And trials are looming. And questions are piling up. What did the Prime Minister know? When did he know it? Were there others involved? And perhaps the biggest one of all, how do you fix the rot before it spreads any further? Because if betting on elections with insider info becomes just another career risk in politics, then something is seriously broken. And this is a story that blends ethics, power, and cold hard cash. And if you can bet, we'll be following every twist here. And if you found this video insightful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. This is Outside Views, bringing clarity to chaos but one scandal at a time. See you next time, and the next video is already right here in the end screen.